Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry this video took so long to come out. I actually recorded the entire thing without realizing that my mic wasn't actually recording, so I have to redo the entire video, but that's fine. Anyways, guys, thanks for coming to the video. This is going to be a Milio'S Synergies video. Basically, I'm going to be discussing Milio'S top synergies with all the ADC champions, or every champion that's played in the ADC role. So if you guys enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like and leave any feedback below. Let's start some things off pretty easy with a few champions that are pretty obvious. Starting off with Aphelios. Aphelios is S tier. He's great with Milio. He pairs perfectly with enchanters. The only problem for Aphelios is that he has no self peel and no mobility. So he's really squishy and he struggles with surviving. He can do enough damage, and Milio is great at helping him with that extra range and the survivability. And Milio Q and R help him with the peel, but the problem is Aphelios really needs a front line to really do well in the game. But regardless, Aphelios would definitely be an S tier with Milio. Another pretty obvious one is Jinx. Jinx is so insanely good with Milio. And any hyper carry really would be. So like we could throw a few of these up here and I'll discuss them as we go. But Jinx would definitely be one of the top contenders for being one of the best duos with Milio. Her extra attack range on her Q makes makes Milio's W get that much more value. Plus, when she gets a kill, like she just shreds through everyone. She's really good with enchanters in general. One thing that you'll notice through this tier list is that any champion that's good with like Nami or uh Lulu is gonna be good with Milio. Um, but I would say that she's definitely in the top 5. If you guys watch my Milio duos TikTok or YouTube short, you'll see that she was in the top 5. She was actually number 2. And if you guys remember from that, I put Lucian at number 1. And Lucian really is just in his own category at S plus. His passive with Milio is just so insane. You'll see him played in pro play a lot with Milio. The extra range, extra movement speed, extra everything. His passive applies off of every single Milio ability. Their duo is just way too good to pass up. If you ever see a Lucian being picked differently, pick Milio or Nami, but I would say even Milio is better than Nami when paired with Lucian. Going back to Jinx, I would just say, yeah, for the reason that she's an insane hyper carry, she's really good with Milio. And Lucian is by far Milio's best synergizing champion. Moving on to these three. So two out of these three have increased attack range, right? That's one thing that you'll notice too in the S tier is that a lot of the champions who already have increased attack range are great with Milio. So Tristana, I've actually been playing with a lot of Tristana lately, and I would put her somewhere in the top 5. I know that I didn't put her in my top 5 on my top duo synergies, but after doing more research and playing more games with a few of these champions, I kind of realized that Tristana is just so strong with Milio. Milio can E her and she jumps in and she just blows the enemy team up, and you can throw your W on her and she just shreds through the enemy team. Also, her passive, when she gets higher levels, she gets more increased attack range. This list is basically going to be based off of the current meta. So, and I would say in the current meta, she might even be higher than Jinx, honestly. But I'll just put her behind Jinx for now. We already talked about Aphelios. Moving on to Twitch. Twitch isn't that great in the meta right now, actually. He hasn't really played much. His on hit build is pretty bad. His crit build is okay, but he's not that great. He doesn't do like all that much damage, and he might be doing good in low elo, but he's not really doing great in high elo. People aren't really playing him, but besides all that, he is great with Milio. Once again, for the same reasons of Lulu and Nami, he Milio can boost him with his E like out of vision. I like to say out of vision with Milio and throw both of my E's on Twitch, and then once he runs up and starts engaging the enemy team, I throw my W on him. If you go Ardent with any of these champions, it's great, by the way. I usually tend to rush Ardent if I have any of these champions. But yeah, Milio Twitch is great. Varus, I don't see people playing Varus enough. Varus is actually a super strong champion, and he builds on hit, which is great for Milio if you rush Ardent. Um, his damage is just unmatched. His his damage is absolutely insane. I would say his best duo is Nami, but definitely insane with Milio as well. You can use your E on him when he's charging up his Q, and he gets that extra movement speed to be able to land his Q. The ability to just run down the enemy team with E and W is just insane. Milio's E and W, that is. Definitely a strong contender for the top 5 Milio duos. I would probably put him, if we want to do this like properly, I would for current meta, I would have it like this. Moving on to some other maybe obvious ones. Ziggs. I mean, Ziggs is in the category of bot lane, but he is not great with Milio at all. They have no synergy at all, and like I don't even know why Ziggs is played by. If you ever have a Ziggs played as your ADC or APC, I guess, just roam. He'll be able to clean up the waves and not let the enemy crash and dive him. So yeah, I mean, just roam if you have a Ziggs. Don't even bother with him. Same thing kind of with Hui, but I would say Hui is a bit better with Milio because he auto attacks a lot. Especially with his WE. Playing Milio Hui, it isn't the worst. I played it a few times. I rush Staff of Flowing Water when I play with Hui, or just go Echoes of Helia and kind of play around the rest of my team. You don't really want to put everything into Hui as your APC. Once again, like AP carries are not great with Milio. You'll notice that the faster attack speed, the better the champions are with Milio. Except for Lucian. Lucian is just different because of his passive, and his passive is insane with Milio. Moving on to, let's go Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw is an interesting one. He's not played much, but he's extremely strong if he gets ahead. I would put him in front of Varus, right behind Tristana. The problem is that their lane is really hard if you're getting poked down a lot. One thing that you'll notice is that Milio really struggles against hard poke. Actually, like engage or enchanters is way better for Milio rather than like super heavy poke. Like playing against Karma or Ezreal or these champions that just want to constantly poke you is so extremely frustrating on Milio because there isn't really a ton that you can do. Milio Kog'Maw is great. Kog'Maw once again has an increased attack range, such as a few of these champions on here. Basically everyone except for Lucian and Varus. He has an increased attack range, and he has the shred on his Q and his passive as well. So just he shreds through the enemy team with Milio. Milio gives him that increased movement speed. He just runs down the enemy team, and there's no stopping him really. Moving on to another one. Let's go with kind of a surprising one. I would say both Sivir and Senna are S tier. I would throw Sivir maybe up here, and I would leave Senna right here. So Sivir is actually a surprising one. She isn't that great of a champion in general, but when she's paired with a strong enchanter like Yuumi or Milio, she can really do super well if her team allows her to. A lot of these champions are immobile, like they don't have good mobility except for Tristana and Lucian. Sivir kind of struggles from the same thing. She's super immobile, but her fast attack speed and fast movement speed kind of make up for it and allow her to kite with her passive. But yeah, having the extra attack range, movement speed, basically any champion that wants high attack range or high movement speed, it really benefits from Milio super well. Same with Senna. Their lane sustain is really good. The early game is pretty good. They can survive pretty well with Senna's Q and Milio's W. Their late game is great as well, having that extra attack range, so it can just kill everyone from so far away. But yeah, basically the scaling with Senna and Milio is great. Moving on to some worse ones, I would say are Jin, Misfortune, Ezreal. I mean, some of these might actually be thrown in C tier, but let's get a few of the bad ones out of the way. So I would throw Misfortune and C tier. They really have no synergy at all. There's no synergy between Milio and Misfortune, other than maybe giving Misfortune a little bit more movement speed. But she really wants like heavy engage. Same with a lot of these champions, except for Ezreal. But like these champions as well just want like heavy engage, like to lock down the enemy. The you don't really want like a enchanter with any of these champions that you'll see down here. Like maybe Ezreal would be more in the A tier while these are down here. Same with Samira. I would say for Synergy that the list would kind of go like this. Maybe Draven would be down here. But these champions really have no synergy with Milio at all. Once again, Samira wants a champion that dives in and heavy engages the enemy. Same with Jin. Same with Draven, Misfortune, Hui. Now, when it comes to Jin, he actually has a special interaction with Echo Zahelia, where Echo Zahelia applies his passive and allows him to W the enemy. So that's actually pretty decent with Jin, and the only thing that kind of gives him the edge over all these other champions. When it comes to Nyla, I know I put Nyla in my top 5, but after playing with her more and seeing what other champions are good with her, I wouldn't put her in my top 5 anymore. Same with Senna. These two champions are great with Milio, but they're just not as good as other champions. One thing that I noticed about Nyla as well is she actually really wants heavy engage. Even though she has that passive that gives her the extra healing and shielding, she just doesn't pair great with enchanters. Kaisa, you're kind of griefing yourself if you're going Kaisa, to be honest. Having the extra range from Milio's W makes it so that when you auto attack, you can't actually Q. So it's kind of like anti-synergy and really works against you. If you go on hit Kaisa and never looking at Q, then I guess it's fine, but they just really have anti-synergy. Same with Callista. Callista just isn't great with Milio. I mean, Callista isn't terrible with enchanters in general, but she just isn't great with Milio. She really wants that heavy engage. All these champions really want the heavy engage. I'll probably at the end of it, I'll put these in a better order, but for right now, this is where I'm having them. I would have Corki in S tier, but Corki is not great right now. But Corki Milio was really great with the movement speed, attack range. Obviously, they work together perfectly well with being able to basically shred down anyone super quick as well. Their kill speed is super fast. He would be like near the bottom of S tier, but I'll just put him in A tier for now because he's not great. I would actually put him behind Ezreal. Same with Smolder. Smolder isn't great right now, but I would actually put him above Ezreal. Their synergy with Smolder Q and Milio W is great. If you build Ardent with Smolder, all of his little thingies off of his Q actually apply Ardent, so it's quite good with him as well. He's super squishy though, pretty immobile, so you kind of need a front line for him to really do well. These two champions right here, maybe I would put Trist in front of Jinx because you don't need a front line with Tristana really. She can kind of just go assassin mode. Same with Lucian. Zeri I would put in S tier. She's quite good with Milio. I wouldn't put her in front of Aphelios though. She does have better duos like Lulu and Yumi, but she is great with Milio. Milio's W actually gives her increased range on her Q, which is great. Uh, Building Ardent gives her attack speed, which in turn reduces the cooldown on her Q, which is great. She loves the movement speed from Milio-E. She just pairs pretty well with him, to be honest. Um, these two champions, both S tier as well. Quite a few champions that are actually S tier. You'll notice that any hyper carry really is S tier with Milio. If we were to put these in order though, I think I would put Ashe up here and Vayne right here. I might even bump Senna down to A tier, right behind Smolder. Um, and the reason for that is that Senna just isn't the best, and she probably actually wants hard engage more, but the Enchanter is fine with her. But anyways, moving on to Ashe and Vayne. Ashe and Milio can run down anyone level 1. You just use your E on Ashe and she just runs them down with her auto and W or auto and Q depending on what she starts. Usually she starts W to get that initial engage. And you can run down just about anyone. Same with Lucian. You can zone with these two champions super strong level 1. Vayne's level 1 is actually quite good as well. And obviously her late game scaling with her W passive is insane. Getting that extra attack range from Milio is great. The extra movement speed, the extra survivability, and her hyper carry abilities, along with all of these hyper carries, is great with Milio. I would I leave Sivir here? I would maybe put her behind Ashe. Once again, I'll touch this up at the very end. These two champions, I would throw like uh like this. So starting off with Xayah. Xayah is not great right now. She probably wants hard engage more so that she can apply her E way easier with the 3 autos into the E and stacking that crowd control. She doesn't really pair great with enchanters, so for that reason I would leave her in B tier. She is decent with Milio, but definitely not the best. Moving on to Caitlyn, I think a lot of people think that this duo is great because she has that extra attack range from her passive, but it's really not. Like, Caitlyn does so much better with hard engage and hard CC that it's kind of hard to compare Milio to those champions. Like picking a Leona, even a Morgana, and Morgana is terrible right now, is great with Caitlyn. Going Rel, Nautilus, just locking them down so that she can get her W into like a auto EQ auto. Really like allows her to get that extra damage and extra CC. But yeah, to touch up the end of the list, let me see what I would do. Lucian, definitely the only S plus tier. This looks good here. Vayne's just not that great right now. Otherwise, I would put her higher. Uh, Honestly, this looks great to me. If you guys would make any changes, let me know in the comments below. But this is my personal top Milio synergies. And I hope that this video was useful to you. Maybe you can convince some of your teammates to pick some of these good Milio duos, because I see a lot of people picking a lot of these champions with Milio when it's just not good at all, and you're kind of griefing your Milio if you pick any of these. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you guys again later. Bye bye.